What is going on, beautiful people? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to Footy Judgmo. Chelsea signed Hato. Of course, Chelsea are serious this window. This is probably their fifth, fourth, here we go, something like this, or like third, something like this. They're still targeting Simmons or Garnacho. And Chelsea are cooking in this transfer window. They want a deal, they get it done. There is no haggling. There is no like back and forth. It is just Chelsea, and that's about it. Arsenal with Eucharist. We'll see his debut tomorrow, how good he is, of course, and still the saga of Alexander Isak and all what's going on, training by himself, skipping Newcastle, trying to join Liverpool, and where does that Liverpool and everything. Hit the like button, guys, if you are here. Subscribe to the channel, of course, if you are new to the channel, of course. How is everyone feeling today?
Very good.
Good, man.
Like a world champion still. Yeah, pretty good.
You guys are never letting this go.
Nah, not for 4 years at least, brother. Not for 4 years at least.
What's that like? Okay. So world champions, like, okay, does it mean like you're the best team in the world? what is so what saying world champion means like for us?
It means we're world champions. It means we won this tournament where the best teams across the world played. It's the only tournament where the best teams across the whole world play in a 32-man, 32-team system. Group stages, knockout stages, and we beat the reigning European champions. But we didn't just beat them; we whitewashed them. A team that people told me they're a cheat code, they're unbeatable. There's a 0% chance you can. We thrashed them in the final. So we're world champions. That's what it means.
You must be confident then going to next season.
I am very confident going into next season. Again, the team's improving. We were taking some natural progressions, given that we started quite bad. Again, there's no taking away from the fact that we were quite bad at times last season, horrible the season before that on the pitch. So we're taking some natural progressions up. Listen, there's still a gap between the likes of us and Liverpool that we had to close off. But that's the
No, you're world champions. There's no gap.
But I thought the best. I thought the best teams played in that tournament.
I'm talking about last season. There was obviously a gap between Liverpool and the rest because they were quite far ahead of Arsenal, City, us, right? And I'm saying that we need to obviously close that gap. And I feel like we were doing that towards the end of the season in terms of getting better. We've had a good summer window. We had a great summer in terms of our tournament up there against the best teams in the world. So now we're going into next season, obviously closing that gap, and we should be obviously getting a lot closer to winning the title.
closer to winning the title.
So the world champion's just a gimmick, Mo. There's nothing to it. There's no
What's
substance.
the gimmick? We went out there and we won against the best teams in the world. I mean,
But then apparently there's a team that
in the world in the final.
You're trying to close a gap to a team, but you're world champions. Like, it's a gimmick.
Yeah, we're world champions. We literally won a tournament when we were world champions. We've seen teams win the Champions League and they still need to close a gap in the league because the teams that haven't won the league, that won the Champions League, and we've done that. I don't know if Arsenal have done that, but in fact, you guys haven't done that, so maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. But teams that have done that, I've seen Liverpool win a Champions League and still need to close the gap.
This whole thing of we're world champion, but we've got a gap. I'm confident, but Liverpool. I'm confident, but it's just a gimmick, man.
Well, I said I was confident.
There's no seriousness behind it. It is what it is. I mean,
what do you mean there's no serious behind it? It's very clear. It's a very simple concept. If you win the Champions League or you win the World Cup, which is what we've done, right? That's great. Obviously, in the league, we still have to go and show that we can close that gap because we were like 20 odd points behind Liverpool last season, which isn't good enough.
You're world champions, isn't it? So like, that's what I'm saying.
We got to
it doesn't really mean much. Doesn't mean much. If you're not going to put chest behind it,
it doesn't mean much. I don't get what you mean by it doesn't mean much.
It doesn't mean anything.
So when Liverpool won the Champions League in 2005, but they finished behind.
Yeah, but if they come out with the baby mentality of, oh, but this, but that, but this, then
why is the baby mentality? Is it not realistic? Is it not real to say that we
go win the league? Then go say your team is going to win the league. That's when it makes sense. Like, bragging about being world champion only makes sense if there's chest behind it. Otherwise, it's a gimmick.
So no team should ever. Wait, no. Let me ask you a question. So no team should ever brag about being European champions unless they've won their league at the same time. Is that what you're saying?
No, but the Champions League is different than the Club World Cup. Wait.
Well, he's not even listening to the point. I'm saying, put some chest behind it. I'm confident that you can go win the league. That's when it makes sense. That's when you can brag about it.
I'm not confident we can win the league.
What's the point?
Wait, when did I say I said I'm confident we can win the league? I just said that. I said I'm confident. Again, we've been progressing at the end of last season. We won a great one. Won like 13 of our last 15 games. Yeah, 13 of our last 15 games. So of course we can go and win the league next season. And of course we needed to obviously sign some better depth, sign some better attackers, and we've been doing that. So the window's really good. My confidence is obviously raising, and again, we're world champions. So why can't we go and make that next step? Simple.
No, if you will win the league, then come. I've got no problem.
Listen, I'm not forcing, so I can't say we're going to win the league, but am I confident we can win the league? Absolutely, I'm confident we can win the league. Yeah.
So how big of a gap do you see between Liverpool and Chelsea then? Because you mentioned Liverpool. There's a gap between Liverpool, which is fair. That's obviously your analysis. What's the gap? Because if there's a gap there, then you can't be that confident that you can win the league.
I'm confident we can win the league. Obviously, I recognize that there was a gap, and it's not just been a gap for 1 season or 2 seasons. It's been for quite a while. Again, this is a team that's won 2 league titles, obviously, in the last 5 or so years. But I remember 2 seasons that they were like getting 90 odd, ridiculous point studies where they should have won the league if not for an amazing City team. So they've proven it in that sense domestically. And we have been in terms of being able to put up 85 plus points in the league. We need to go and show that. And also, they've been doing it while competing in the Champions League. We've not done that. Last season, we won the Conference League. And listen, that was a great tournament to win, but that really was just, we just got to go there, collect our trophy and keep it moving. It's different when you're playing against the best teams in Europe.
Do you think you close the gap on the likes of Arsenal and City?
Yeah, and again, even last season, we weren't that many points behind them in the grand scheme of things anyways. So, yeah, we're obviously a lot closer to those guys. Liverpool are right there. And listen, it's a new season. We don't know how it's going to gel with all their new players, even though, of course, on paper, if they add what they've added, and then on top of that, maybe Isak, of course, on paper, they should be going to win the league because they have a great team. But it doesn't always work out like that. Again, we saw Real Madrid sign Mbappe, consensus best player in the world, and they got worse. So we never know in football. But of course, Liverpool are a top team. City should be a lot better next season. Arsenal are in phase 9, adding pieces that actually making the fan base even more confident. So they should be better. And of course, we should be absolutely better next season. We're going to be better next season. So it's going to be a very good title race, and we're going to see what happens.
There are people that say there is no world they see Chelsea finishing above Arsenal.
They also said there was no world that Chelsea win the World Cup, but we did that. So we'll see.
Yeah, but it's one game. It's different than having 38 games, winning week in, week out for 38 games. It's different.
I know, and I recognize that. But again, when I say I recognize that, then they say, oh, but now it's fake chess. It's like, so we can't, 2 things can't be true at one time. Like, of course, we're getting better. We've shown it domestically in the league and how we went on that run where people said that there's no chance we're going to get top 5. There's no chance we're going to beat the likes of Forest away or Liverpool at home, whatever teams. We actually went on those winning runs, done that. Won the Conference League when people were trying to hype up betters. Again, it's Conference League. I'm not going to hype that up too much. But we won the World Cup. against some very good teams. When we got to the final, people say, "Oh, you had an easy run, this, that, and the third, but you still got to beat the teams who are in front of you. Teams that beat Inter Milan, beat Man City, so whatever, cool." We get to the final against the cheat code team, the team that, again, it's a 0% chance. Again, people on this panel said that we have no chance of beating them. So again, that must prove something that you beat a team like them.
Now I remember.
So, again, I can bring my phone out and play the clip again, but we don't need to do all that because that's in the past.
I know I said it. I'm not denying what I said. I'm just saying, if you're going to do World Cup, World Champion gimmick, then put some chest behind it. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, otherwise, it's a gimmick. It's all it is a gimmick. It's like saying I'm European champion. Are you going to win the league? I don't know. Now, what's the point? Like, it doesn't mean anything.
What do you mean? It's just a gimmick. How is it a gimmick? We won something incredible. Again,
you're not going to put chest behind it.
It's easy to say that from your position when winning stuff is quite abnormal to you because you don't win many trophies of late, especially big major trophies. So,
I think what Sal's is trying to say, right, is if you're rating the Club World Cup, which again you're well within your rights to do it. Arsenal didn't win it, you guys did, right? And you use that as a barometer to say we done this. You should be I think you should be talking about your chances in the league with a bit more chest because if you don't say it translates like directly, then it's not a gimmick, but ultimately it's just like a tournament, innit? It's a one-off game. It's like Newcastle beating Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, right? They beat us. That don't mean they're a better team than us, if that makes sense. They beat us on the day they were a better team, 100%. But if you ask them what team's better, if you ask anyone, they'd say, no, Liverpool's a better team. So it depends how you want to go and look at it. I think that's what
that's why I mentioned the form that we ended the season with. Obviously, again, I'm not going to necessarily say that we're fully a better team than PSG, although we've shown that we were convincingly better than them on the day, for sure. Yeah, on the day. Again, it is what it is. I feel like we've shown the progression. We're signing better players. Again, our attack was horrible to end the season for the most part. We basically got fourth in the end, based on our defense being so solid. A defense that a lot of people don't really rate individuals like Colwill, Sanchez. People don't rate, the likes of Chalobah, Tosin, but they did their thing. They kept a lot of clean sheets, held it down. Of course, we got Reece James back in good form, staying fit. So like now adding João Pedro to the attack. Now we got actually more than just one striker relying on Nico Jackson, who really is not even really a proper striker. And we got Delap. João Pedro is top quality. Like we're gonna see what this guy's gonna do next season. And of course, Cole Palmer, who had a horrible end to the season in terms of like goals. He was still creating and stuff, but he went like on a mad goal drought. That's not gonna happen again. This guy next season with the likes of João Pedro, Neto in better form, and you got Gittins coming there, Javi Simmons on the way. Like it's different, bro. So of course the confidence is there. Of course, I think we're gonna be a lot closer to the league. We're gonna close that gap for sure. If not, go and win the league. But again, I have to recognize that of course there is a gap there. I'd be stupid not to recognize that. Yeah, it's been years since we've actually done it. So,
so how do people rate this Chelsea team? I rate the Chelsea team. I think the Chelsea team is very good. Do I think they're better than Arsenal? No. Do I think they're better than Liverpool? No. Do I think they can be close to City? Yes. But I think that still that Liverpool are number one. Arsenal with signing Gyökeres now. They might sign Eze. They're number two. And probably Chelsea and City, maybe. But also that the manager is a big difference in Pep Guardiola versus Enzo Maresca. I think this Chelsea team is good. They have individuals that will get in every team. The likes of Caicedo, the likes of Palmer. They're very good. Cucurella has been very, very good in that left back position for Chelsea. But still, I still think that Chelsea spent a lot of money this window, but they haven't closed the gap that much, in my opinion. Have they closed the gap on something like Arsenal? Like, I think Zubimendi is good. Caicedo is better. You have Declan Rice. You have Cole Palmer. The attack, the Gyökeres is better than both the strikers you signed. Does everybody agree that Gyökeres is better than two strikers Chelsea signed? Delap and João Pedro. Is that a given for everyone here?
Statistically, yeah. I think statistically you can't argue with it, but I would say that you just, because obviously Gyökeres is coming from another league, you don't know how that's going to translate to the Premier League, and you don't know how João Pedro is going to translate to Chelsea. So obviously at Brighton, statistically he was okay. You'd think it would improve with a better team. It might not necessarily improve. Likewise, Gyökeres statistically 100% the better striker, but it might not translate in an Arsenal t-shirt.
Can I say the same about Wirtz and Ekitike then? Frimpong as well?
100%. I think Frimpong, you can say 100%. I think Gyökeres is the one when you look at it, because it's the Portuguese league. That's what I would kind of point to. And you look at how Sporting did, albeit you done fantastically against Premier League sides, especially obviously Man City. Although they were going through a madness, right? I'd like to see Gyökeres just week in, week out, and that's something that will be interesting to see. Ekitike is obviously the question mark. That's the one where you're like, oh, is that going to go and translate? You'd think it will do against better players. Wirtz, I think, is the anomaly. I think all round you can just go and see, oh yeah, he's a quality player, and I think he's just one that will I don't think anyone's questioning whether he's the guy or not. But look, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, I'm excited to see how Gyökeres does, because there's a lot of question marks regarding, is he just PMP running in behind? Can he do the other stuff? Do you know what I mean? Holding up play, because the teams will sit back against Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? So it will be interesting to see how he plays and how he fares in that type of style. And I remember those question marks around Haaland when he first came to the club, when he first came to City. People were saying, look, how's that going to translate? Low blocks, no space in behind. You just got goals. And if Gyökeres can get goals, then Arsenal are going to be a problem. So I have to just wait and see.
Going back to Chelsea, to be honest with you, the thing about it is that I believe that Chelsea has everything at their disposal. People say that the goalkeeper, there's not a lot of teams that have, like Ederson is a good goalkeeper with his feet. He's not the greatest shot stopper as well. He's not. The defense of City is okay. It depends on how you play. Chelsea have improved defensively massively, by the way. They kept a lot of clean sheets at the end of the season and also in the Club World Cup. The midfield is arguably the best in the league currently, in my opinion, with Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and Palmer. The attack is the problem for me. It's so many unknowns. Like, we know that Saka is established. We know Salah is established. Haaland is established. For Chelsea, all the attackers are not established. None of them, which is a whole line that is not established. Pedro Neto can be a hit or can be a miss. Joao Pedro, we have seen him have patches that is good. In the Club World Cup, he looked phenomenal. I'm just going to give you this. But is that going to translate to a 38 games? You need a 38-game consistent player to actually challenge for the Premier League. For Delap, good prospect, good potential. He's not established yet. Gittins, okay, played in the Bundesliga, looked good, looked okay. But that's about it. Estivao, young player. There's a whole line at Chelsea that is unknown. A whole line, which is the front line.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. And again, as analysts here, when we're assessing the system, assessing the season, we have to forecast, the knowns that we know in terms of, and then also the unknowns. And obviously, Salah, we know what he's going to do. Probably won't be as statistically amazing as he was last season, but he's still going to put up good numbers, you'd imagine. Then Arsenal, Saka's going to do it even in the half a season where he was fit, still produce a lot of top assists, decent goal record, but that could easily upscale to what it was the season before that. Again, so you look across the other teams, obviously City, Haaland, we know what that is, right? So it's proven. With Chelsea, of course, I agree. It's a lot of unproven in terms of at that level. Are they going to go and show that they're going to get 20 plus goals or whatever? Because you haven't got many players who can prove that other than obviously Cole Palmer. But again, when I look at the talent, when I look at, the format a lot of these players are coming into this new season with, and of course, Esteban, who I didn't mention earlier, that's a lot of X factor that we've got in this attack. And in terms of that, the strikers, as much as Gyökeres statistically, you can say that he's proven more goals than Pedro and Delap or whatever, but I would rather take Pedro and Delap over Gyökeres and Havertz as their backup striker. Again, Gyökeres, we'll see what he does for the season. Again, he should put up really big goals, but again, we haven't seen what he's going to do in terms of linking up play. That's going to change how Arsenal are. Also, in the air, he's not actually that great. So people look at him as 6'4", physical presence, but it's easy to bully players in the Portuguese league. You're going up against teams in the Premier League where everybody's physical. They're not unknown to that kind of physical strikers. A lot of physical strikers here that also struggle. So you have to see how that adapts to the Premier League. So again, for me with Chelsea, we've just got so many options, so many different ways that players can actually create goals, score goals. Again, for me, the best midfield in the country. But again, I still want to add another centre back, another starting right centre back, and I still want another goalkeeper. Because again, when I talk about the 38-game season, we've got some good players and players who have shown, improvements over the last few months, but I'm not trying to go with Sanchez into a 38-game season to try and win a league, because I've not seen it in 20 plus years watching football, properly. I've not seen any team win the league where they've got a proper shaky goalkeeper that's known for bozo moments. I've just not seen it. It's been Cech, Courtois, Alisson, Schmeichel, you name them. None of those guys, when they were in the season winning the league, were shaky. Even Ederson, when he won the treble, he was top quality that season. So we just don't see it often. And for me, get a Maignan, get whoever we can get to actually solidify that, and my confidence will only grow.
Fair enough. RSV, big up my man. Mo, your thoughts on Newcastle getting rejected by everybody, even with the UEFA Champions League by 15th place United. Mbuemo is only on 150k a week, which rises if United get Champions League. I don't know what happened to Newcastle. They're getting shafted. They're getting rejected. The project is getting torn apart. And I reckon within one season, Bruno Guimaraes should leave. Tonali is going to go back to Italy or go somewhere else. I think if they let Isak go, and they don't get a top striker or you don't get a striker, I genuinely believe that they're gonna be destroyed, completely destroyed. By the way, Newcastle. Tanya is saying, when you get Cole Palmer, anything is possible. Does anybody believe that Cole Palmer can repeat the season that he had 2 seasons ago?
Yep, he absolutely can, and he showed it even last season that he absolutely could. Because first half of the season he put up crazy GA, and the second half of the season he was getting the chances to continue crazy GA, and he just was missing chances, and also creating a lot of chances. Again, him and Enzo, top 5 chances created in Europe, but he was just missing a lot of chances. So people thought, oh, he's playing bad. No, he wasn't. He was creating, but Jackson was missing chances. Madueke was missing chances, etc., etc. So he absolutely can put up another crazy season, and I expect that, to be honest.
If Cole Palmer put out that crazy season, lads, you're gonna challenge for the league towards the end, because I don't think Delap and Joao Pedro are Jackson. Jackson missed a lot of chances, bro. He missed a lot of chances.
I think we've seen consistency from Cole Palmer, if I'm being honest. I think even last season, I know people tried to say, "Oh, he wasn't as good" and stuff. I personally think, I'm not shameless. I think that guy's him. Like from a young age, I think that guy's him. You saw how he took the game by the scruff of the neck against PSG. You've seen that, you can see the ability that he's got. And yeah, I know there's some question marks about him doing it against Liverpool and this and that. That will come with age. Do you know what I mean? That not everyone gets it, but if he can do it, do you know what I mean, like 35 games a season. And do you know what I mean, 3 games he doesn't do it. Do you know what I mean? That's going to be that puts them in good stead, and you'd hope other players can step up in those games as well. And hopefully that's their strikers from a Chelsea perspective, man. So it'll be interesting, man. It'll be interesting.
Again, if Chelsea finish 4th, then is that a failure for them?
Yeah, I mean, no, for me that's dead. I'm not trying to finish 4th. I mean, again, it also depends what the points tally is. Like, if you get to like 85 points and then the teams will put up like 95 plus point seasons, then you know what, it just is what it is.
It's not going to be 3 teams putting 90 plus points.
That's my point, right?
Not happening.
But again, finishing 4th for me would be kind of dead. But again, if we finish 4th and then win the Champions League, then I'm taking that, to be honest. So the chest Chelsea fans are showing is crazy. Go ahead, Jerry.
No, I was going to say, I think 4th is good. I'm not going to lie. If they can get 4th, you got to kind of look long term. You try and just blow up, do you know what I mean, the project and think and run before you can walk. That's when things can go left. I think if Chelsea can get 3rd, 4th again, you're now doing more, do you know what I mean, you haven't done in a while, which is consistently get Champions League. That then enables you and shows that the club's got stability in the Champions League. That enables you to go out and then get better players. If you look at the market that Chelsea are shopping in, let's be honest, it's not the market that the big boys are shopping in. Do you know what I mean? You ain't going to go and get in this side.
Jerry, but that's a choice. That is a choice. Chelsea chose not to go for but Chelsea chose not to go for the big players.
But there's a reason why, right? Because you want to rebuild the culture. If you go and look at when Liverpool are going to sign in players, if you go and look at even what United are trying to go and do, even what Arsenal have done, you have to go and buy players that are willing and hungry for a project, right? You don't want to go and just buy a player just because he's a name, because you end up like United. You end up like United with Casemiro and stuff. So Chelsea have done the right thing, but I'm saying there's no. If you look at the players they've got, right, Delap, Joao Pedro, these are players where you're like, are they going to be good or are they not? They're like they're gems. Liverpool used to buy players like this, like your Manes and your Salahs before they popped off, where you're like, yeah, he's a good player. Let's see what he does though. There's a lot of question marks around them. If they do well, they can be quality players, but there's also, I mean, potential for them not to do well. So you got to kind of balance it. Yes, they've still got quality players, but let's not beat around the bush. Like that front line, buying Gittins and Delap and Joao Pedro, that could easily be a stinky front line. It could. Not saying I think it will, but easily could. There's no guarantees in that front line, as you said, Mom.
Yeah, I've got a quick question for the panel. So if we're saying, well, Addison 4th is dead, who are we expecting to drop out of City, Arsenal, or Liverpool? Because one's got to drop out for Chelsea to finish any higher.
So I will answer that question again. When I say 4th is dead, I want progression. So like I agree, 4th wouldn't be like complete failure. Like falling out of Champions League would be like failure because that's regression, right?
Yeah.
To me, I want to see progression, but you're right. To be fair, stability in the top 4 would be good, but if we get 4th, then we need to win trophies because that's the culture that I grew up on with Chelsea. So that needs to happen. But yeah, for us to get top 3, team that I would expect to fall out, it is tough to say. But again, there's a lot of question marks around City. And for me, Arsenal, there's also question marks around Arsenal. So it could be either one of you guys, to be honest.
There's not a lot of question marks about Arsenal, by the way.
For me,
I don't know when we want to talk about
where did this come from? Because Arsenal didn't play well last season. Is that where the questions are coming from?
Yeah, and listen, they're adding players. And listen, if they get Eze and then they get like a proper left winger, then of course it's like okay.
Even without a left winger, if they get only Eze, the team was good enough to finish second behind City, still with injuries, finish second. What are the questions? Forget, no team is complete. Like even Liverpool team is not complete.
Yeah,
they shifted Gravenberch, and he played well last season as a DM. They played with Robertson that a lot of Liverpool fans wanted out. What are the other questions? Is it only the left winger that we're asking? Is that the question?
It's literally if Odegaard is going to be that bad again, because if he's that bad again, then you're not winning a league title. Like if he was the guy he was 2 years ago, then okay, that's something. And obviously if Gyökeres does what he needs to do, then cool. Obviously if Gyökeres flops, then you're going to be relying on what Havertz again. Jesus is out till what, like February or something. So like that's where the question marks come for me. And also the fact that when we see them miss out on a league title this many times in a row, there's normally a drop off. We've seen it happen a lot of times when teams finish second twice in a row, and then that was their opportunity.
We've had our drop off, which was last season. Our last season wasn't that great in the league. We've had our drop off period.
It was a bit of a drop off, but it could continue. It could continue a bit of a decline. And listen, the pressure that's on you guys this season.
The drop off only continues if you don't reinvest. That's the problem. If you don't reinvest properly, which is what we've done, that drop off doesn't really happen.
But for me, you know what it is, right? Like, as much as listen, you've invested in this good, and you should be better. I mean, I don't see how you can be worse than what you were last season. You should be better, but this is like your opportunity. And I feel like you actually missed the opportunity last season, because if you'd done this summer last season, you were in pole position to win the league. Listen. Liverpool were like better than we expected, and they still put up like a ridiculous first half performance in terms of domestically and in Champions League. That they were, for me, the best team in Europe alongside Barcelona for like 7 months. Yeah. But Arsenal should have been there, because we were talking about City's fall off. If that happens, Arsenal are right there, and you guys were awful. It feels like that was like a big missed opportunity. And like Liverpool have re-strengthened now. City can't be as bad as they were last season. Chelsea are climbing, and we should be in amongst it. We're going to be in amongst it. So it feels like as much as you've done your signings now, it might be that case of like, damn, we actually missed the opportunity last season, and that might affect the team this season. To be honest, I can see that happening where Arsenal, they're good, but they're just not getting it over the line how they should be. Given that, again, it's phase 8 or 9, and you've been doing this for a while under the same manager, the same voice. A lot of players are thinking, okay, if this doesn't happen, maybe I've got to look to leave to actually win trophy, because that's a real thing. These players are now, it's past the point of hunger for trophies. These guys are starving for trophies. They want to win, and they know that.
Yeah, but they're all re-signing contracts for a reason. They're all signing contracts. Saliba signing a new deal. Saka signing new deals. Ethan signing new deals. Miles Lewis-Skelly signed new deals. Like Gabriel Magalhaes just signed a new deal. So there's clearly the narrative that's being spun into, like, these players don't see the hunger, or there's no hunger from the club. That's clearly a narrative that's being spun by rivals. Like, if you're looking internally at the club, why would someone like William Saliba, who's been tied with some of the biggest clubs in world football, look to even entertain the idea of a new deal?
Yeah, but listen, this is contract talks. Again, things are always going to be talked about, and obviously he's going to be thinking, okay, well, can I get 250k?
The deal's basically signed and to be announced after the tour.
Listen, if he's gonna get signed, then that's great, and that would then change the narrative a bit for sure. Obviously, Gabriel signed, that's cool, but again, there's still Saliba. That's gonna be a year left after this season, or whatever it's gonna be, right? Saka, I think will stay again. Haaland, boy, it is what it is. But I'm just saying that it gets to a point where if you guys miss out on trophies again and you get second or third again, it's like, when are we gonna actually do it under this project? When are we actually gonna win under this manager, or whatever this phase is? Like, because again, these guys care about winning trophies. Like, I'm seeing people celebrating Saliba being at the club for 6 years, and man's holding up a shirt. Again, any other team, they're holding up trophies. They got something to show for it. Saliba's been one of the best centre backs in Europe for how many years? that last killed me. But again, Saliba's been what he's been doing, but man can't hold up anything to show anything for it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Man got to show trophies.
Yeah, but that's why the club are making these moves behind the scenes in terms of getting in a new sporting director who's moving in different ways. We've got a striker in. We're getting a new left winger or a cam or whatever the case may be with an Eze, Liao, Rodrigo, whatever. And we're addressing the situations. We've got one of the best midfielders in world football coming in, Zubimendi. We've covered our depth. We've got one of the most exciting centre backs in world football coming in as well to back up Saliba as well, just to reinforce that defence that's already been reinforced. So at the end of the day, like, the club is moving in ways that we've never seen it move before. And we're getting deals done with pre-season to adjust those sort of periods and have those tactical tweaks to be done. I just don't understand the narrative being spun that there's loads of questions, or there's questions of Arsenal, when actually those questions have been answered. People said they need
Jerry said that a couple of days ago. Jerry is like the question that you asked about Arsenal and all this stuff.
There are questions, isn't it? There are questions. You have like obviously maybe not in terms of players for Liverpool, for Arsenal fans, but the questions are you haven't won. And ultimately, and I was saying this, I think Arsenal is a great team. I think the manager's good, but until you win, you ain't a winner, innit? So like,
no, but that's not a question. That
is a question whether you can win. No, there is a question. It's like whether you can win, isn't it? Like that's the biggest question is whether Arsenal can win. And I think within the Arsenal fan base, that's the question that even the fans have.
The way I see people asking questions of Arsenal, not okay. Yeah, the question mark is whether we can win. Obviously, that's never going to be answered until we do it. But it's the narrative of like there's questions of Arsenal because of the quality of squad, whether they've addressed the situations they needed to address. That's what I see.
But I know, but there will be, isn't it? That's the thing, is that because you guys haven't won, when you go and look at, for I think the question is the same with Chelsea. That's the same thing I was talking about top four, right? Is when you go and look at, for example, Liverpool have got a spine of a team that have won. The manager has won. When you go and look at City, they have won, right? With Arsenal, 100%, they've done really well. They've had great games, but there's always that. Are your players mentally? Have they got that thing to go that next step? Because the other players have.
So what can they do? What can they do to fix this? They are trying to sign a winner in Eucharist. They signed Zuma Mendio. Everyone.
They're trying to. That's what I'm saying. The business they're doing is good. They're trying to, but that question mark will always be there until you do it. Because when you do, I know, bro. Liverpool had that question all the time. With Liverpool on the clock.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I'm more talking about because your question has always been the question. That's not this season specifically. That's been the question last season, the season before. Yeah. So I don't see that as a new question that people are asking. I see that as a historical until we win. But the way that I see, like when Mo suggested, or like when Ads is saying, there's still questions about Arsenal. I don't see it as whether they can go and win as the question mark. It's more of there's got to be more to it because we have addressed everything. Because a lot of the reasons we can argue we haven't won something is whether the 9 has been good enough. We can argue whether, the question mark is whether the left winger in Martinelli, Trossard, and whoever else you want to put into the equation has been good enough. And that's kind of the way I interpret that. Can I call it a critique or whatever the word is, of the Arsenal project? I don't really see it as a question mark of because that will always, I can't answer that because that's up to the players and the manager to answer whether they can go and win and deliver. I've said they can, and I will always say they can. But at the end of the day, I'm not the one playing on the football pitch. I'm not the one making the managerial decisions. That's a question mark for the club. And I've always said it, look, people like myself, people like Igal, yes, we get bullied for trusting the process. We get bullied for being Arteta in. We get bullied for trusting the club and, maybe blindly as well. But the one thing I said, and I'll continue to say, I've trusted the process. Now it's up to them to make me believe it. Because now it's not about me saying it. It's not about me saying can we trust it? No, do it. Bert is the prime example of what Arsenal fans are now asking. We've trusted it. We've rode through it. We've taken on, because the players, they can turn off their social media. I get it as a fan. I can turn off my social media. I understand that. But we don't, because at the end of the day, we love our club and we want to defend it. We've taken the slack for them. We've been taking it, even on this panel, I'm not saying you guys have, but I'm saying when we come onto panels, we have to defend it for our lives, pretty much.
You don't have to, by the way. You don't have to.
No. What I'm trying to say is, look,
people you don't have to. You know that. So, there are some people that come here and ask questions. By the way, Jerry, if you watch Husam's show on every Friday on 11 p.m. UK, Jerry with the rest of the Liverpool fans, all of them don't agree with each other about the signings, about where players play. It's not we won, we're great. Even though Liverpool won, they still ask questions about, is Frimpong the right back? Do we need a DM? Can Gravenberch do it again? Do we need Isak and Ekitike? Should we go for a left winger?
No.
You don't have to back it all the time. That is my point.
Maybe I've misspoke. I'm not saying we have to back, I'm not saying we have to back every decision. What I'm saying is people like myself have defended the project because we can see the vision. But at the end of the day, at some point, the question isn't to the fans having the mentality. It's whether they can go and deliver it. And now we're at the point of, it's not trust the process. You have to deliver the process to us. And that's what I'm kind of getting at.
So let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, right? Because again, I do think that the narrative about Arsenal going to win trophies is valid, but I think you're right. There is a bigger narrative, which is you've done what you've been praying to do for how many years, which is to sign a striker, Again, you just you were talking about addressing in the attack. On paper, if you get Eze and then obviously a proper left winger. I think another big question was, the lack of depth, because that was an issue last season where you had injuries and the depth wasn't really there. You've addressed the depth. So, like, for me, it's Arsenal are there. Everything you've been waiting for to do it is actually there. So it's like, again, you said you can win the league. So, like, where is your confidence? Because again, you're talking to me saying that I need to show confidence in chess. Like,
I do say in terms of like expecting to win the league. Back with the signings that we're making and the potentials that are coming. Well, if Eze and whoever, I don't know who the other players are that are potentially coming in, but even if I look at it as just Eze, because that seems to be the biggest name being linked and that looks like it can be done. I'm more than confident we beat Liverpool to the league. And I feel like Liverpool, like the reason why I say it isn't a critique to what Liverpool have done. I feel like what Liverpool have done is rebuilt in a very aggressive way. And I feel like the reason why I see it this way is that aggression too quick? Like, they've done transformational changes, especially if Isak comes in. You could be talking about Salah being the only player in the front line. Then, on top of that, will that midfield suffice in a Premier League 38 games? Now, I'm not saying they're not good enough. What I'm saying is, can it be bypassed? Because you've got to understand, the Premier League intensity for 38 games is a lot harder, where for me, a solid 6 is needed in some games. I'm saying they can win 90% of their games without a 6 or having like a Gravenberch type 6 who's not like a typical 6. But is that going to be too easy to bypass? And also the question marks of, I don't like using friendlies as the barometer, but we've seen Van Dijk being skinned time and time again in friendlies. So
one thing I'll say straight away, right? When it comes to there's certain players, and this is what I'm talking about. This is why I was talking about Arsenal, why there's questions. There's certain players when it comes to football that wherever you think about, oh, he looks like this, they always turn up. Virgil van Dijk always turns up. Salah always turns up. When you had Arsenal, Tony Adams always turns up. Fabregas always turn up. Vieira, no matter what happens in a friendly or one game, they always turn up. That's why there's no question marks around them. The question marks around even like a Saliba is really, really good player. But, and there's always a but. There ain't a but with those players. And I get what you're saying in terms of like, oh, Liverpool can...
No, it's not a critique on his quality, it's a critique on his age.
Like,
because obviously with age, obviously you're going to drop off in certain aspects.
Thiago Silva was phenomenal for Chelsea at the age of 38.
No, but there's a difference. But there's a difference though. What I'm trying to...
And with all due respect, Van Dijk is better than Thiago Silva.
Let me complete the point.
Not everybody ages that great.
The Van Dijk issue, right?
Yeah, but Van Dijk looks like he's aging very well. So why are we assuming that he's gonna get worse?
Can I complete what I'm about to say? Because I've just said one part. What I'm saying is this: what I've analyzed, and again, it could just be because it's a friendly game or it's a few friendly games, is they're looking to play a ridiculously high line, which is fine to do. But my problem is whether the person next, because they haven't signed a centre back as of yet. They have been rumored to signing Mark Guehi, but if, let's say, for example, like obviously Joe Gomez now has been officially confirmed as injured. I don't know how long the injury is.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've then got Kwanzaa who's been out. My question mark is, with this high line, there's going to be a large dependency on Van Dijk covering a lot of this, especially with Frimpong and how attacking he is. And we know, look, whether he improves defensively is a different question, but we haven't seen that. We know he's a great wing back, but he isn't a great right back.
Liverpool...
Is there going to be an over-dependence on Van Dijk?
Very good. I wanted to transition to Liverpool, actually.
Yeah, regarding that, right? Liverpool, the thing that made Slot really, really good last year, it wasn't some attacking, free-flowing football. It was the fact that the unit of Liverpool became much better defensively, which meant we didn't need a 6. We didn't need 5 centre-backs in a team. We did like Arsenal. We didn't need like 2 DMs. We played Gravenberch in the 6, and the fullbacks were much more narrow. If you go and watch Liverpool go and play, when one fullback goes up, one's tucked in. It's not both of them up at the same time. Kirkes now has more legs. Bradley's got more legs and desire than Trent ever did, right? And Frimpong also has more legs and desire defensively than Trent ever did. The unit of Liverpool is what's most important. And yes, Liverpool are still going to get caught out with a high line sometimes because that's the way they want to play. But guess what? Liverpool have always played like that, right? And with a Van Dijk and with a Salah, I personally feel, and again, there's not going to be a sharp drop-off. It's not going to be like today's 30 goals and tomorrow's 10 goals. That's just not going to happen. You might get a steady drop off, right? But this is where Liverpool have tried to be intelligent with the players that they've signed. They're signing players to mitigate those circumstances, which means who do you go and get in? They're trying to go and get in Isak. Isak guarantees you goals. Like, he just guarantees he's going to get goals in this Liverpool team. If you look at the amount of chances that Nunes has had and the amount of misses he's had, you put any forward there and they go and get goals. Like, even today, if you watch the friendly, Liverpool could have scored 4, 5, 6 times, but they just didn't score because Gakpo missed the chance and Nunes comes off his shin. If that's Isak, it's just a goal. And that's the difference. Liverpool never have a problem creating chances. And defensively, even though Arsenal are defensively better statistically, it's only by like 7 goals. And Liverpool actually had more clean sheets than Arsenal, right? So, and that's with a team that, again, hasn't got a 6, has got Trent that's rubbish defensively, has got a Robbo that's terrible, and that Saka skinned, right? So what Liverpool have done is pressed.
Can I go back to Adz's point? Hold on, so I want to go back to Adz's point.
All I'm saying is what I'm seeing is obviously you're paying this much higher line.
It's not much higher. That's what I'm saying. It's not much higher.
Yeah, okay.
Bro, Van Dijk has always defended individually. Stones,
but he's
play next to Van Dijk. He's still gonna look okay, bro.
But he's had other players helping. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's the other way around. This is what people want to say. Van Dijk, bro, if I play next to Van Dijk, Liverpool defense will look there. Jerry,
even Kwanzaa when he plays is good. I'm not saying, look, what I'm getting at is we don't know who this replacement centre back is going to be. If it's Mark Guehi, then cool, like, you know, that will solve a lot of problems. But at the moment, we know Konate can get injured. Then what do they do?
Oh no, 100%. Like, listen, in the market's not done. The question marks, again, there's question marks over every team. I think Mo was alluding to it.
Course.
We still haven't got a centre back. You could argue we might need a 6 because Endo is not really trusted by a slot. 100%. But I think the difference, and this is where the questions, I think if you go back to last season, because it was Slot's first season, there was a lot of question marks around Liverpool. Liverpool almost nearly team. They've won it once, but, you know, got 98 points but still lost. Last season, Klopp done really, really well. All of a sudden, there was a drop-off. It was like, new manager coming in, what's going to happen, right? If Liverpool got 4th, I would have been happy as a Liverpool fan. And even if we recruited the way we did, there'd be question marks. We'd be like, oh, but they haven't won the league, so can they do it? The difference is, and this is where it eradicates all the question marks, is a lot of them anyway, is Liverpool won it. Slot won it with that team.
No, absolutely. No, and I'm not denying that. But also, the question mark can be they never retained it. But I'm not going to do the shameless stuff. But I'm
really trying to have an objective conversation about the Liverpool team. And, bro, lately, everywhere, it has been trying to find nitpicking about Liverpool. Oh, this is going to be bad. Oh, so they're going to lose this game.
I'm not trying to nitpick. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to understand what their plan is. Like, obviously, I don't see the day-to-day of how Liverpool are running. But obviously, the question that I have is more around their defense, because obviously the style of play that they're trying to do is going to mean if they don't bring in a quality centre-back, it's going to be a very high dependence on someone like Van Dijk, who has done it. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying, like, obviously coming back on an ACL, which he's returned great. Like, you know, he doesn't look like he's missing a beat to a degree. But my question mark that I'm trying to get at is, with obviously the reliance of the attacking phase that they're trying to play, and obviously, like Jazo said, that they are going to get caught out. My question is, when Van Dijk does, because look, no centre-back, no matter how perfect you think they are, is going to make mistakes. Obviously, they can outscore teams and have, like, they'll be 5-0 up before the mistake happens. That's not what I'm getting at. But in that game where Van Dijk does have an off day, let's say, do they have, what's that? Because Konate, for example, on a Van Dijk off day is perfectly capable of covering for Van Dijk if he was to have an off day. Whereas if they're bringing in a centre-back of mediocre, not even mediocre, like an okay, you know, quality, is that going to be enough? Because in a 38-game season, and we don't know, like, I'm not saying Arsenal are going to be perfect and we're going to win every game and Liverpool can't slip up, but we've had these seasons, even when we went toe-to-toe with City on that season where we lost, on the day we could have celebrated it, because if they lost or we lost, you know, on the last day, if we have a toe-to-toe season, that could be the difference. And that's what I'm trying to get at. I'm not nitpicking at Liverpool. I'm just trying to understand what their plan for the defense is.
In your heart of hearts, right? In your heart of hearts, because Liverpool kind of, so far, their left back was a question that everyone had, right? Robbo, Saka skinned him in that first couple games. They got a left back, right? It was Trent, what's going to happen? They brought in Frimpong and they got Bradley, who some people think is a better right back than Trent. I don't think so. But cool.
I think so.
I'd agree.
All right, cool. But you think so? I don't. But cool. You know what I mean?
It depends what you're looking at a right back. Defensively, I do think.
Yeah. So again, if people think that, that's fine. I digress.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Liverpool question mark was the forwards. Jota wasn't scoring. Rest in peace. Nunes is crap. Right? They addressed it, and they look like they're addressing it. Right? So when you go and look at what Liverpool have done, they've addressed it so far. So in your heart of hearts, do you think Liverpool would look to go, and they've let Kwanzaa go? Do you think they'd allow they'll just get in some mediocre centre back just for banter, or do you in your heart of hearts think, nah, you know what, like they're gonna get?
I do think they'll get a centre back of quality, but
exactly. So if they get a centre back of quality.
But also the question mark that I also have is like obviously outlaying the amount of money you've already done. Obviously bringing Wilson for 100 to 130 million. Obviously Isak for 100 to 130 million. Obviously we don't know what the rumored final fee will be for him. Yeah. Obviously was Ekatike was 80 million euros, something of that nature. 69 million. So when what I'm saying is the outpour of like the amount of money that you've spent already is how much of that budget is left for that centre back.
Oh, there's a lot. That's what I'm saying.
In that case, that's
what I'm saying. So Liverpool,
there's a lot of money left.
Liverpool obviously didn't spend last year, right?
Yeah.
Won the Premier League, right? Also got fined the Champions League, and obviously we know the format of that. You earn a lot of money from that, which has enabled even Arsenal to spend this season, which they didn't do last year. Yeah. And then Liverpool on top of that have gone and made near enough 100 million on sales already, right? Nunes still hasn't left. So when you think about it, Liverpool are just very, very astute in the market, and they're probably leaders in that regard. Hence why, although there's this where you're going to sign from, if you go and read all the journalists, it's after Isak, Liverpool are still spending. There's no talk of like, it's Isak and that's it, and then there's going to be no signings. And as Liverpool fans, we've heard that my whole life. As soon as Liverpool sign a big player,
you got Van Dijk, Konate at the moment fit. Who else do you have? Because I just can't recall any.
Gomez, and I think it's going to be.
But Gomez is injured. Sorry.
Yeah,
injured.
So I think it's going to be Gahey.
Okay. So you're going to potentially
and then there will probably be some.
I think Solskjaer is rethinking what is going on next season. He's like, with the show going on minute by minute, he's like rethinking okay, we're gonna go and win the league. We're gonna go and win the league, and every minute that Jerry speaks more.
No, I think that anyway.
But that's not objective.
I'm shameless.
Okay, to be honest with you, forget the shamelessness. To be honest with you, it's a Wednesday evening. I don't want to be shameless. I'm just going to tell you objectively. I don't want to go back to Ads' point. I'm going to do these super chats and then go back to Ads. Ads raised a very good question about why Arsenal fans are confident and why some are not confident. Not going to lie, bottom right got some serious football IQ. Probably you're the only one who says that. A lot of people on Sam's channel says otherwise, but Jerry James is top notch. I like him. I love him a lot. Big up Jerry.
Do it is. This panel and the chat seem to be a bit more, in tune with football. The other one's a bit more reactionary. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah. Sometimes I got a lot of shameless shows, but
they're shameless shows. But I think today they're all right. I'm hated, so big up.
Yeah. Red Indian is saying there is no absolute that Liverpool will win the league. We have changed a lot of established players from the first team, like Trent, Robo, Diaz, Jota, rest in peace, and have as of now 2 center backs. We are weaker overall. Big up Mo. Oh, you are a pessimistic Liverpool fan, or you are playing your team down.
Wouldn't I say they're weaker, but I get his point. I do get it.
I was gonna it's actually to add this point. Been playing a high line for 7 years, lad. You never walk alone. Yeah, Liverpool have been playing a high line since Klopp arrived. Ads, you asked the question about why aren't Arsenal confident of winning the league? Because of the business that Liverpool are doing. You cannot sit here, Ads, and tell me that Arsenal are okay. Let me just say something. We spoke about this on the Football Terrace on Straight Facts, man, Sam, this morning, and Terry. Even though Arsenal have strengthened and they signed Gyökeres and they got Zubamendi, so Arsenal have improved. But I believe with Liverpool signing Isak and if they get Gay, they improved more. And there was already a gap, as you mentioned earlier. So, like Liverpool were 7 out of 10 and they won the league, and Arsenal were 6. Liverpool have improved to 9 and Arsenal have improved to 7. So the gap got big. That is my opinion, by the way. Yeah. Based on last season only. And I'm not basing this over the last 3, because if I base it on the last 3 seasons, Arsenal have addressed everything that made them not win the league. But I'm talking about last season. Liverpool last season created 150 fucking chances in the league. The closest team is 115. Right? Muhammad, like, this is how big is it, right?
Yeah.
So, and now they go and get Ekitike, and they also go and get arguably one of the best strikers in the world, and probably the second best striker in the league, if they get Isak, which looks like. So Liverpool have, if they translate, and by the way, Liverpool have missed the biggest chance, the most number of big chances in the league. If we just translate 20% to 30% of that, no, I don't think anybody's catching them.
I mean, they shouldn't, right? And again, as analysts, if you just do the maths, Liverpool were like here, what they've done is taking them here, Arsenal were here, it's taking them somewhere. But, you know, again, logically, you're right. It should be a cakewalk for Liverpool, but we just know football isn't like that. We just know
100%.
Things always change. Things, again, injuries could happen, whatever happens. Obviously, an RIP Jota.
But I don't talk about injuries, ads, for one reason, because if I talk about injuries, that is the unknown factor that I can't, because listen, Salah can snap his leg. Also, Eucharist in the first game, bro. Mikel Merino broke his shoulder in the training session, not even playing a game. I can't take that into account while I'm analyzing football.
And of course, I'm just mentioning the fact that, again, there's unknowns that we don't know about. Again, there's constants, pretty guaranteed constants, and there's also variables that we just are going to happen through the season. And again, I mentioned the Jota thing in RIP. Again, knowing these elite footballers, especially a lot of the experienced guys in that dressing room, that's probably going to elevate them in a sense. That's going to be like, you know, we've got something greater to fight for. So I can actually see that even taking it to another level. It could, or it could go the other way, which, again, God forbid, I don't want it to happen like that. But again, with Liverpool, I thought for a lot of last season, they were amazing. But I felt like there was a real overperformance in terms of like what they were doing earlier in the season, where like defensively, they were just amazing. And the midfield that, you know, on paper doesn't look the most balanced, and they were dominant. Until obviously later in the season, they started to like tire. Obviously, we saw what PSG did to them in the midfield battle. And I feel like without addressing that sixth situation, listen, Gravenberch could be great again, because he was a wonder kid, fell off a little bit, but then last season was almost the realized version of what Gravenberch should be. But is he going to be that again this season? And also, and staying injury free, he could be. But again, we'll have to see. McAllister, again, top quality player. We'll see how that happens. I think there's still going to be Shabazz like in the midfield, and I don't really rate him. But in terms of defensively and the pressing, that's great. Obviously, if you want to go and put Verts in there, then that may change that sort of the midfield dynamic. So again, on paper, Liverpool should be top. But again, I feel like look at them, the midfield defensively, it could get got out. Frimpong, they can get got out. So
it could 100%. But that's what I'm saying. When you look at the defense, right? Or from an attacking standpoint, which Liverpool have tried to address with the likes of Verts and Isak and whatever. Trent has left, right? You've got in Bradley, who most thinks is a better defensive fullback, and you've got Frimpong, who's probably got a better appetite for defending, irrespective of whether you think he's a good defender or not. He's probably going to try a bit more than Trent at times, right? Kirkes is better than Robertson at this moment in time, because Robertson's, he's on his way out, which is fair enough. But
defensively, there's still questions over Kirkes for me.
Defensively, well, listen, Robertson defensively last season was poor for Liverpool fans. True. We didn't look at him. So Liverpool have upgraded in that aspect. And again, just looking at Arsenal, for me, Arsenal, they have improved in the areas that they should have. They've got the striker. They've replaced obviously Partey with Zubimendi. They've obviously they've got Madueke. They're looking to get Eze. So like they're doing the right things. The biggest question for me is when you haven't done it, you're asking a couple of players that might have done it somewhere else to be the trendsetters, to be the ones to show you how to do it. That is a very difficult task. When I played, it was difficult. It was difficult to come into an environment where they haven't gone and won. The difference is at Liverpool, it's a winning environment. Not only have the players won, right, in terms of the old school players, your Virgils, your this, your that, all the new players have won. So the likes of Gravenberch knows what it means to win now. The likes of a Sobasai knows what it means to win. The likes of, do you know what I mean? Bradley now knows what it means to win, because we went through periods where you had to grind it out, where Liverpool didn't play well but still got the results, where Liverpool didn't necessarily like score a lot of goals but won the game 1-0, right? And on top of that, the manager has now won. A manager that has won somewhere else. Whereas when you go and look at Arsenal, and this is the biggest question mark, is why I go back to it, they haven't won. So yes, Gyökeres, you've addressed it. What you're going to hope for is that can be the difference maker. And on paper, again, I agree. Arsenal have done everything they should have done in this window. They got the striker. Gyökeres was the one that you wanted from before. They've got the striker. They get Eze, quality. He's someone that can go and play in that 10 if need be. If Erdegaard's not playing well, can also go and play on the left. You've got Madueke. We'll see if he can be dangerous, but it's another option. Saka's going to be back. You've got Nwaneri that's got a season under his belt. Like, it's a good team, 100%. I don't take away from it. But when you haven't won, there's a certain, intangible that you just can't, you can't compete with. And Real Madrid have proven it so many times, where City are popping them off the park and just still win. Real Madrid just still win. And that's what it is. When I go and look at Liverpool, I've got so much trust in Liverpool when they go into a big game, knowing 9 times out of 10, we're going to go and do the business, because there's just a certain mentality that's at the club. We didn't have that for so many years. It took a while for us to get that. It took failure for us to get that. Now, can Arsenal do it? That's the question. If Arsenal do it, listen, if Arsenal do it, we're talking about a different Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And there's no basis for me to even look at and be like, you know what? Yeah, they ain't won the Premier League, but they've done it in that, though. They've done it in the FA Cup. They've done it in, you guys, that group, that cohort haven't done it. So until they do it, that's where my biggest question mark is.
Listen, before we move on for Liverpool, listen, like, again, it's a convincing argument. I feel like almost anybody can make a convincing argument for Liverpool right now, because the evidence is just there. You were great last season. You've added, which means you should even be better. So, like, it's bulletproof, really. And logically, it's almost bulletproof. So, like, how disappointed would you be if you don't go and retain a league title here? Because obviously, it's been ages since Liverpool have done that. Not in my generation have they ever done that. And again, we've also never seen you shrink from a position of strength. It's always been like, okay, you kind of had a bit of a mid-season or whatever, or it was okay, and then you got strengthened. And when you won the league titles, you just saw you sort of just try to look to maintain. But now you've strengthened. Again, you're clear favourites for the league. For me, Champions League, you've got to be like top 2 favourites, really, with PSG, to be honest. You should be right there. So, like, how disappointed would you be if you come away from next season and you don't win another major trophy next season?
That'd be a massive problem. That'd be a massive problem. You can't. Unfortunately, this is what I'm saying. With what you've done, the expectation rises now. Like, Liverpool fans, a lot of us, we're not going into, a majority aren't going into next season thinking, yeah, if we can just, we're talking about winning everything.
Yeah. You're not used to doing that as well. You're not used to actually being where, like, oh, we have to do it because we're there.
No, we have to do it. But even in season, like when we won the Premier League, the next season after, yeah, we didn't do it, but the mentality was we go again, right? And whether you can do it now is a different question. Again, Souls have got a right question. The question mark over Liverpool is you ain't ever retained it before, so that's the big thing. Can you go and do it again? City have done it multiple times. Liverpool haven't done that, so that's the biggest question mark for me. But that's the aim. Because I'm looking at it and thinking, with PSG, they went through on penalties against us. We beat them at home. They beat us. We beat them at away. They beat us at home. They didn't beat us in the tie. Like, they beat us obviously on penalties, but they didn't beat us in 90 minutes technically. So I'm looking at that thinking, boy, and that was a Liverpool that were poor at that time. We weren't fluid the way we were. I mean, being in the part of the season, to your point. So 100% Liverpool are looking at it and thinking, no, we've got Isak. That's an upgrade on Nunes. If he gets those chances, that's more goals. Means we're a better team. Like, no one, I don't think any Liverpool fans sitting there with no chest. Like, I've got chest. So Liverpool now, yeah, that's the target. If Liverpool do not or falter and you finish second, get knocked out in the quarters and don't win any cups, that's going to be a failure. And that's when we're going to have to go and question, be like, rah, what happened there? Then you can start looking at why, and you can obviously start to interrogate why. Did Salah drop off? Did Virgil van Dijk drop off? Was Wirtz a crap signing? All of those things can get chucked at us. But at this moment in time, to Arsenal, to the same point I gave to Arsenal, Liverpool are addressing every issue that any fan, rival fan, pundit, Liverpool fan had about Liverpool. They've addressed every point.
Which team is better, Jerry?
Which team is better in terms of who?
Yeah, Arsenal or Liverpool?
Liverpool. We won. Like,
no. Forget the winning thing. No, people keep asking me this all the time. I don't think it's a question. I don't think it's a question. People tell me, player for player, team for team, like, you are telling me the defense of Arsenal is not better than Liverpool's team, for example.
It cannot be, because you haven't won.
That's not an argument, Jerry.
No, but it is, Mo.
Can I tell you? Can I ask a question? Forget Arsenal. Okay, yeah. Chelsea. Who has a better midfield, Chelsea or Liverpool?
Liverpool's is a title winning midfield. I don't care about the individual players. It's the team game. This is what I'm trying to go and say, because
I'm talking as a whole unit, as a midfield, as a unit. I'm not telling you a midfielder by midfielder.
But that's my point.
Would you take Caicedo, Enzo and Palmer, or Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai, or even Wirtz now? Which one? Which midfield would you take?
I take Liverpool's midfield over Chelsea's. And there's certain individuals that I think are better than certain individuals, right? 100%. I think I just spoke about Cole Palmer. I think he's a good player. I take him.
Okay.
I would take Caicedo, but I'm not taking the unit of Chelsea to bring it into Liverpool, because the unit that you're talking about is a title-winning unit. It's the same way, right? When I go and look at Liverpool's midfield when they had Gini Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and Henderson, right? There's a couple players I look at and I'm like, I'd have Wirtz in that team maybe. That team won everything there is to win for me. There's no discussion about what midfield's better. There's one team that won everything for me. There's a team that have just won the Premier League. The other team won everything.
Listen, I hear it, right? Like, if my team had won a league title, I'm not trying to swap them for anything, really. But again, if we're assessing like what's better technically, what unit is better, because again, listen, your attack won the league last season, but Barcelona, your attack wasn't really hitting like that. Whether it's Nunes or whoever, like Gakpo, so like
to your point,
the attack's better than that.
Exactly. So to your point, if it was only Salah that was really hitting like that, then you have to look at why did Liverpool win the league then? It was the midfield. It was the defense. Because if it's just Salah hitting, it's not just Salah FC. There's other components as to why.
What's Salah FC? Like,
there's no league that's ever one player FC. You might get one player that is the Don Dada of the team. There's never ever any title winning team, any Chelsea winning team, any Barcelona winning team, even when they had Messi, where it was just one man show. And the
have we ever seen a one man attack like carry? Because again, it's never just one. Like, you can't play football by yourself. It's not like even basketball, right? That's 11 men on the pitch. But it's never like a one man doing as close to a carry job as we've ever seen. Like, there's not been many in terms of just the attack. There's not been many better than just what Salah done last season, bro. Because
there's never. Ads, just to correct, never.
Yeah, never. There's never been.
Never.
Even when Messi was doing his thing,
he's not.
Suarez,
Even Thierry Henry didn't do it. Nobody did it. Nobody did it.
No, 100%, and that's what you can go and say. But then you have to look at, all right, if Salah was doing everything and there was whatever you want to call them, let's say bums. I know a lot of people want to call them bums.
Nobody said bums. Nobody said bums.
Nobody
said bums.
No one said bums.
Bums.
I'm saying I've spoken. I don't think so, but I've spoken to Liverpool fans that thought Jota at the time was a bum. Rest in peace. Nunes is crap. I think he's crap, and Diaz is a bum as well. And Gakpo's all right. That's that kind of narrative that goes around, right? Because you have to look at the other reasons to why Liverpool won the league. And it was the midfield was clicking and the defense was clicking, because you can't just win a league. There's never been a team that's just won a league on just an attack ever. Like defense, the sayings, defenses win you titles, and it's the clean sheets Liverpool got. It's the fact that Kelleher can come in and Alisson was injured and we still got clean sheets and still made important saves. It's the fact that Konate had a great season, means that Robertson, after a poor start, will still had a decent season. Means that Gravenberch had an outstanding season, which you got team of the season. McAllister had an outstanding season, and Szoboszlai, for whatever you think, but defensively is important for the balance. We can't argue that point. So man for man, technically, 100%. There's loads of players I can go to Aston Villa and look at a couple of players and be like, I think technically he's better. But ultimately, that team won.
That team did win. But again, technically, I feel like our midfielders is elite level and the depth, because again, behind Gravenberch and McAllister, what are we looking at? Endo, we're looking at Harvey Elliott or whoever. Right? Behind Enzo and Caicedo, who again top performers last season. If people are underrating Enzo's team when he got like 25 GA. And was even putting in a shift defensively, doing a great things. Caicedo, for me, best midfielder in the world. We don't even need to even have that discussion for me right now. We don't need to. But behind that, we got Lavia. We got Andre Santos. He was top in League One last season. We got Asugo. We got some serious hitters in that midfield. And look at that midfield depth. In the league, who can really chat to that depth, bro? That depth of quality in midfield. Not many people can chat to that right now, including Liverpool.
No, but depth. Adding depth is a different question. We're talking 3-on-3.
Yeah, 3-on-3 is still Chelsea, bro. Like, Caicedo's better than Gravenberch. Enzo McAllister, it's, I respect McAllister. So, if you want to say McAllister's better, you can say it. But I think Enzo's better. I think he is. And then Palmer's better than Wirtz. So, and Szoboszlai combined, to be honest.
You think Palmer's better than Wirtz?
Yeah, he is. Wirtz is cold, but there's cold and then there's freezing, and Cole Palmer's different. Yeah. Do you disagree? Do you disagree?
No, I disagree. Wait.
I disagree. Wait. You think Wirtz is better than Cole Palmer?
100%.
Wait, but why though? Why?
Just look at what he's done for Germany. Look what he's done for Bayer Leverkusen. he was one of the talisman, if not the guy, that got them to winning the Premier League, to winning the Bundesliga unbeaten. Like, again, he's won. Like, you're talking to people that are winners. Like, I don't like Cole Palmer. Like, I rate him, but you need to win, brother. Because if this carries on,
Cole Palmer's the winner.
Oh yeah, Club World Cup and Conference. I hear it.
And a treble too. But okay. I won't be shameless.
Treble where?
I won't be shameless with it with that one. But again, there's winning, and winning is cool. But like, I've seen top again. Saka's not a winner, but Saka's a top player. Like,
yeah, no, he is. Yeah. But this is where the differentiator is. If Saka had gone and won the same amount of Salah, there's a real discussion into.
No, but no, don't go there. But I'm gonna ask you something. You think Saka's better or Gakpo, the winner, is better?
Saka's better.
But Gakpo's a winner, though.
Yeah, Gakpo's a winner, but I don't rate Gakpo like that. That's what I'm saying. When you compare, but Mo, this is why I said
Diaz is a winner, though, as well.
No. But what he's trying to say is there's quality, and then if they
So I'm saying when you're comparing two players, I said I rate Cole Palmer here and Wirtz here, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're both quality. I'm not comparing Wirtz to Maddison. Do you know what I mean? I'm not doing that. I'm comparing Cole Palmer, who I rate, and Wirtz, who I rate.
I like it. Yeah.
One won it. I'm not comparing Saka. I compare with.
But do you know why I would pick Cole Palmer? Do you know why I would pick Cole Palmer? I think Cole Palmer can get you a season like what he did 2 seasons ago, like a 35, a 33, like something like this. Again, I think Wirtz might not actually get you that season. Like, I watch Wirtz a little. I'm gonna admit, I'd wake up fucking every Sunday and Saturday in the morning here in America, and I watch the Bundesliga. I don't. But at the same time, I'm just gonna have to say that it's, bro, like Cole Palmer and Wirtz is a conversation, but it's not like, like there's no like night and day. But I'll pick Cole Palmer ahead. I'll pick Cole Palmer ahead of him. Listen, we can talk about this all day. I'm gonna do the super chat so we can get out of here, people. I don't want to stay for long.
Well, I need to go because I need to get the message from the station. But big up you guys.
No worries. Big up, Jerry.
Make sure we're smashing the like, man.
Yeah, hit that like button, people. Guys, can we get to 200 likes, people? Just over like 600 people here. So can we get the likes up a little bit? Okay, now this is cool. Been playing the high line. We did that. Arsenal midfield will shit on Liverpool. See you in game week 3. Diallo's on fire. He backs his team. He's an Arsenal fan.
I think the Arsenal midfield is overrated, man. I can't lie. I think it's overrated.
The Arsenal midfield is overrated. We can talk about it. Wirtz is not better than Palmer. Wirtz is not better than Palmer. Yeah, it's a conversation. You think the Arsenal midfield is overrated with Zubimendi, Rice?
Yeah, like Souls earlier said that Zubimendi is one of the best midfielders in the world, and I feel like he's not top 10, so I wouldn't even put him in one of the best midfielders in the world. He's very good. He was very good for Spain when I've seen him. At club level, good, decent, but like, at the same time, is he one of the best midfielders in the world? No. Rice in the 8, when it's not big games, because big games, okay, like he's a bit more box to box, a bit more all action, so it suits him more. We saw it a lot of times last season where in the 8, man is just stiff. He's not able to create much from open play or be that effective on the ball. Defensively, cool, it's cool, but like, again, you need more from somebody in that position on the ball. Offensively, that's why you look at Enzo for us in the 8, is getting you crazy GA and crazy chance creation. Declan Rice isn't doing that from the 8. I feel like he's suited best to being in the pivot. But if Zubimendi's there, got Rice in the 8, he's not going to create and like offer to get on the ball as much. Then Odegaard's got to carry the offensive burden, which he was doing 2 seasons ago. But last season, if you get that same Odegaard or a similar Odegaard to that midfield is light, bro. That midfield is not touching the likes of Liverpool, City, even Newcastle, let alone Chelsea, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, fair enough. This guy is making me defend Chelsea and their players. Maybe. I thought that I think Declan Rice got the same GA as Enzo Fernandez last season in the Prem. If I'm not mistaken. I'm actually checking it now. I think so. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Enzo Fernandez got 13.
Fine, even though he had an off season.
He didn't have a great season, Declan Rice, to be honest with you. I don't think he had a great season, in my opinion.
He's very overrated season, but he had some big moments, fair play. Ended the season pretty good form, but like,
but his GA still ended on just as much as most 8s in the league.
But my point is that for like 7 months of the season, people are like, "Oh, Partey's been our best midfielder, this, that," and it's like, okay, cool. So then why are we then doing Rice team of the season talk after a couple of good games? It's like, come on, like the consistency wasn't there, like at all.
No, it wasn't there.
Last season, I don't deny it. We weren't that great. in the league.
But again, aren't you concerned about what I said about him in the 8 against lesser teams? Because I feel like he's not that involved in terms of.
No, because we've addressed most of them issues. Like, say for example, we get Eze through the door, then it's calm. Like, Rice isn't mainly the issue because he's more of a box crusher when he plays against smaller teams. We're going to have Odegaard, who's going to be much better. We've got Zubimendi, who can break the lines as well. This is what I'm saying. Like, as a midfield 3, I'm perfectly happy. I wanted Zubimendi to come in because he's the perfect complement to a Rice.
But where does Eze fit into the team? Is he left wing? Is he replacing Odegaard? He's left wing.
No. He'll be left wing most of the times, and then potentially.
So how does that work? Because MLS is very, very good inverting. I really rate MLS. He's a top left back. But if Eze wants to come inside, MLS is inverting. Rice isn't going to go to the wing. So, like, where does the natural width come from on that left side?
No, MLS is really good at coming inside, but he's also very good taking it out. So, like, one thing that is obviously something we didn't need him to do last season because of Martinelli and obviously Trossard coming inside. We just didn't need, like, MLS to do too much of that because of the way we were playing, but we are evolving the game. Like, even if you look at, again, you guys won't do this, but, like, if you look at some of the training videos, behind the scenes videos, and you're looking at sort of individual training and you're understanding kind of what they're being told to work on, like MLS, for example, is being told to work on its half crosses. So there is components of sort of becoming more of a wider fullback being implemented back in. But even if you look at, like, for example, Calafiori, obviously he's been injured. If he comes back in time, I've heard it's a smaller injury. It's not going to be a major one. He's someone who does like to actually hug the touchline more. So there's going to probably be 2 styles of play where we could bring in a Martinelli or an inside forward and then have certain fullbacks playing that sort of role. But also, Mikel Moreno is going to be crucial as well. I think there's going to be a lot more rotation than people think.
Yeah, 100%. My man here is saying, big up my man from Iceland with the Icelandic Corona. These Pool and Arsenal fans disrespecting the Club World Cup are hilarious. They could have been there if their team had done better in Europe. Fair enough. But Chelsea have won the 2021 Champions League, and that's why Chelsea are in the Club World Cup, my friend. But again, the Club World Cup is good and all, but I don't think it's an indication of how good your team is. The Champions League and the Premier League.
Like, why isn't it when a lot of the best teams in Europe are there? They clearly took it seriously. The like pressure to win is massive because of the financial repercussions of it. So why is it not okay? I get Liverpool on there.
I can explain. I can explain very simply. The winner of the Premier League is not there. The winner of Serie A is not there. The team Barcelona, which reached the winner of La Liga, is not there. Who reached the Champions League semi-final, and clearly this season they have been better than Real Madrid. They smashed them 5-0 everywhere they went. Arsenal, the second best team in the league, is not there as well in the Premier League.
Okay, you're missing a couple of the best teams in Europe, right?
These are not couple. These are not couple. Even from Portugal, Sporting Lisbon, back-to-back holders of the league. They actually were in there. The second and the third team are there. Yeah. And the Club World Cup. And I'm not.
Okay, you made that point, and I hear you, and I appreciate that point. Right? A lot of the best domestic teams were not in the competition. But you know what the competition had? It had all the best teams in cup competitions. In Europe, teams that you mentioned, what have we done in Europe? Not much. Again, Benfica and Porto were better than Sporting Lisbon in Europe. Chelsea and Man City were better than Arsenal and Liverpool in Europe, and again, I can go on and so forth. So, like, we actually proved we were better in competitions, in cup competitions, in our continental competition. The best teams met up from the continental competitions in the world.
So how are Chelsea better than Liverpool in Europe when you actually haven't played even Champions League football for back-to-back seasons?
Because we've actually won the Champions League in the last 4 years. And
that was 4 years ago. That whole team is not there. There's only you get my point about the Club World Cup, right?
Like, in that competition was still PSG, who again cheat code, best team of all in the last 10 years, whatever.
Yeah. I give Chelsea that PSG game.
Man City were there, Inter Milan were there. Again, but Man City who bought players for the tournament went hard for a tournament.
I gave Chelsea that final game. But you cannot tell me that this competition holds the best teams in Europe. For example, let me give you, in the Champions League, when you go into the Champions League season, this coming season, basically the best team in every country are going to the Champions League, right? The top 3 here, the top 4 here, top 2 here. This is basically the elite of the elite in Europe are going to the Champions League. in the Club World Cup, because it's based over the last 4 years, there is a team like Chelsea who haven't been even in Europe's top elite competitions for back-to-back seasons. They changed their whole team. They changed their managers, are in there. But Liverpool that reached a semi-final, a final, didn't they reach a final after? And they lost a final after from Real Madrid. And based on the points, they're not there. But in the league, they are better than Chelsea over the leagues. For example, since you won the Champions League, you've never finished ahead of Arsenal. Since you won the Champions League, if I'm not mistaken, Arsenal have finished.
Yeah.
So logically speaking, Arsenal are a better team than Chelsea over the last 3 years. And Liverpool.
Yeah, over 38 games, not over when it comes to.
And even in the Champions League, they reached the quarterfinal and the semi-final in the last 2 years.
I can counter that by then saying, cool,
Yes.
like, we can be European snobs to the point where we're like, okay, it's all about European teams, cool. But then the other teams around the world, including Saudi, including obviously especially South America, they showed that it isn't just about just the European teams, because they showed against European teams who were taking it extremely serious. In Inter Milan, Man City, they got knocked out early by teams from these other continents. So if that tournament was just okay, they got to the final 8 and it's just Dortmund, Benfica, and all the other European teams, Chelsea, Real Madrid, PSG, whatever, then fair enough. But we actually saw the other teams actually compete. So as much as you're missing out on Liverpool, Barcelona, you're then replacing that with teams from South America who took it super serious, who are mid-season, who are going all out for it, who are used to that climate, by the way. So again, all those factors have to be taken into account. It was a serious tournament, missing a couple of big teams, fair enough. But at the end of the day, that's a very credible trophy to win. Very credible trophy to win. And the team
for example, you
makes it even bigger.
Absolutely.
Even bigger. And how we beat them as well.
Yeah, 100%. Juventus, for example, have not won the Champions League since 1997, right? Against Dortmund. Juventus, the last time they won the league was 4 years ago, or 5 years ago, actually. Since Juventus won the Serie A, Inter won it twice, Milan won it once, and Napoli won it twice. That was 6 years ago. But Juventus are there, and Napoli are not there.
Because they were better in Europe. I mean, they had to, because that's how the coefficient works. They had a higher coefficient, so they were there, based on what they've done in Europe.
Fair enough. I hear your point, but Arteta said he sees Eze as a 10 best or left 8. I don't think Arteta has spoken about Eze. He's not even his player to speak about him yet, my friend.
He never talks about.
He never spoke about another team.
Even Gyökeres, before he came in, he was like, yeah, I don't make comments on players who aren't here.
Basically, that's what he did. But listen, people, thank you so much for everyone that joined us. Great show, as always, with souls and ads, of course. I'm assuming ads will be tomorrow on Don's channel for the Blue Diaries. Tomorrow, probably at 4 or something like this. Big up souls for being here, and Jerry James is in the description. Guys, hit that like button before you go. Thank you for everyone, guys, that stuck with us. Hit that like button. I will see you guys tomorrow, 1 hour after the Arsenal game, and we're out of here.
Love.